Hey everyone, number 70 on my list of 100 greatest songs of all time is Always on My Mind by the Pet Shop Boys. If you haven't asked yourself what's the greatest cover song of all time in your life, who are you? Because it's something that I think about a lot. And I kind of came up with the answer a few years ago, and it is this cover. Because I like when someone goes outside of outside of the box when it comes to covering a song. Most of us will know Elvis Presley's version of "Always on My Mind." It was written. The song actually was written by Wayne Carson, Johnny Christopher, and Mark James. It first recorded by Brenda Lee, and it wasn't until Elvis recorded a version of it in 1972 that it became, commercially successful as a song. And the Pet Shop Boys decided to do their own interpretation in 1987, and it would go on to be UK number one at Christmas of that year, which is then immortalized as all Christmas number ones are, along with all those X Factor brilliant talents that are right up there with the two lads of the Pet Shop Boys. I'm being, sarcastic, obviously, but what I love about the Pet Shop Boys version of it is obviously it's completely separate to what Elvis did to the song or anybody else did to the song. It's the synth pop, and it's very. I had a keyboard about that size when I was younger. I was given to me as a Casio keyboard. I used to play around with it. Didn't really know what I was doing on it, to be honest, but I used to have it there and play around with it the odd time. And I love just messing around with the sounds. Like, you press buttons, you press little. Now, I don't just mean the keys, by the way. I mean like the buttons that were here on the keyboard. And you just make these mad sounds. And it reminds me every time I hear that song of the bit when he goes, "You were always on my mind." So that's the bit after he says, "You're always on my mind." But there's a really industrial sounding part to it, and it's like chun 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 chun, and it reminds me so much of when I was young. Of I don't have an equivalent, I suppose, on this, something like that. But it reminds me of my Casio keyboard and what I could do with it, and the percussion is a very important part of this version as well. It starts off with a kind of not quite a cowbell kind of thing, but a bell of some sort, and the heavy percussion that comes in on it, and it's I always love Chris Tennant, his version, or his vocals on the song. He kind of sounds like he doesn't really care that person's on his mind, which is brilliant, because he does sound like that in general. That's his kind of vocal delivery, and you will hear it on other songs. And when he sings it on West End Girls and stuff like that, it kind of makes sense. And West End Girls just missed out on the 100, by the way. But the way he delivers a vocal is very interesting. It's not emotional or passionate that much. It is in some songs, obviously, but in Always on My Mind, it's not. And it's funny because it is a love song. But it's kind of like they wanted to strip away that part of it, like the ballady part of it is stripped away by Chris Lowe on the keyboards and whatever he does in the background and in production and stuff. But then Chris Tennant kind of matches that Inuit kind of feeling towards what he's singing, and it there's just something the attitude towards it is quite punk. And every Christmas it comes on, you see Christmas at the BBC or these kind of shows Christmas number ones and all, and there they are in the Top of the Pop studio doing their Christmas number one, Always on My Mind. It shouldn't fit anything of that era. They're obviously an incredible partnership and a brilliant artists, both singularly and collectively. And the songs that they write, like It's a Sin and Being Boring, and all these songs are just so brilliant, and they're not so much of their time, it's not like I would say this is Always on My Mind is of its time, in the sense that what the sound effects he's using, but there's other songs where he's not really using that. He's using more kind of synthy stuff without the kind of 80s drum sound, and it's different. But in this, it's kind of stunted in that by what he does, but I don't think they give a shit really about it. I think it's something that obviously one or both of them love about this song. And I don't know, that like it's always captured my imagination. Like I would have been 5 when this came out, so obviously I wouldn't heard it then. But well, not like I wouldn't have taken it in then. But the more I listen to it, the more genius I think it is. And before I record one of these videos, I listen back to the song and I hear like little bits off it every time. There's a bridge part, you know, like tell me that your sweet love hasn't died. The kind of there's kind of something really luscious about the synth he uses in that part. Like he's the silent assassin. You never hear him talk or anything like that. It's always Chris Tennant that does all the you know the kind of publicity and all that around it. But like this song is Chris Lowe's song. I think I love Chris Tennant's fuck Chris Tennant. It's not Chris Tennant at all, is it? Chris Lowe, sorry, is it's really his song, and it is like post-punk punkness of taking a song like this and turning it into something else. And that this, for me, this is the version now. This is the one I'm going to. I like Elvis's version of this, by the way. It's not like I don't, but it's slow and it's kind of a schmaltzy kind of ballad, and that's fine. You know, if you're in the mood for it. Willie Nelson did a version of it in 1982. I'm just seeing that there, but nothing tops this. It got into the US top 10 as well. It must be such a bizarre thing to hear this for the first time. I imagine, like, I mean, when it just came out at the time, knowing what they were doing with this, with the studios and the synths and whatever else they use, but like, I don't know if anybody could sound less in singing this song as he does, and yet still it's a number one. And you should watch the video because it's cool, and it's very if you've seen the movie Good Friday, the kind of gritty British kind of look to it, and the two boys are in their prime, and it's just it works very well. So yeah, always on my mind. Funny enough, is on my mind quite a lot, if not always. But yeah, I'm going to say, I know I said this, if you don't know it, go and listen to it, but you do know it. But just go and listen to it again. All right, thanks, bye.